There's not a day that goes by that I don't wonder why. Why I didn't have a fucking backup plan. Why my kids eating and having stability was dependent on a romantic relationship.
Listen, ladies, being a traditional wife, a child wife, or a child girlfriend, or whatever, is a very dangerous game to play because you're messing with your life. It is not easy for you to put one egg in one basket. It's not wise for you to trust an individual with all your life. And you see some women that are genuinely in a relationship, in a marriage, and they are traditional wives. They have put all their egg in one basket. That is, they are not working, they're having kids, they are just staying at home just to, take care of the kids and be a good wife, be a good mother, but they are not a good person to themselves because at the end of the day, anything can happen. And where are you going to run to? I have this interesting video to share with you all. She was a traditional wife, and she's trying to share a story for everyone to listen. So I'm going to go ahead and roll the clip for you all to watch to the end. But then let me know your thoughts in the comment section while you watch the video.
I want to start this video by saying that I'm not asking for money and I'm not asking for sympathy. What I'm asking for is if you are a young 14, 16, 21-year-old girl, listen up. I drove to the grocery store. I need to grab some milk and bread and a couple things, flipped open the bank app on my phone, and I've been sitting in my car crying ever since because I never have enough money. And why do I never have enough money? Because when I was a 19-year-old girl, I fell in love. My Mormon faith told me that I was supposed to be a stay-at-home mom. I got married. I started having babies. I dropped out of college. I never had a career. My only jobs that I ever had in life were a waitress at the Olive Garden and managing a pretzel maker in a mall. Oh, my first couple years of marriage, I decided that I wanted to be an entrepreneur, so I bought a windshield business. I was 20. And my Mormon stake president reminded me that women weren't supposed to work, so I quit my own business, handed it over to my husband, took my name off of it. I would work our family business throughout the next 24 years of my marriage, but I never got paid. I didn't have a salary. My name wasn't on it. I literally worked for room and board. That's it. I would eventually also launch a custom home building company with my uncle as the architect and my friends as the builder, my designs, my realtor. But again, because my husband was the man, his name was on all of the projects, his name was on the business. I remember one of the last custom homes that I built, we sold it and made about a $260,000 profit. That money all went into his bank account. I didn't even have a bank account. I should have said that in the beginning. I never had a bank account. He would give me little envelopes of cash to go grocery shopping with. Anyway, that house sells, the money goes in the bank. I just asked if I could buy myself a piano with the money. I had worked on building that house for 2 years. All of the money went into his bank account. Nothing was under my name. I got a piano and I got a free house to live in. And I got groceries. So I found myself divorced at age 44 just 5 years ago, and within just a few months I was living in my car while he made about $250,000. He would eventually quit that job so that he wouldn't have to pay alimony and child support. He has only paid alimony one time ever in the 5 years since we've been divorced. Once ever. Right after my divorce, I remember being really confident about my ability to get a job, so I put together a resume. I remember one of the first interviews that I had as a management position for a windshield company, similar to the one that we had run. And the man actually laughing as he was interviewing me, like he was really sympathetic. He wasn't being a douchebag, but he was laughing. And he's like, so let me get this straight. You helped manage your family windshield business with your husband, but you were mostly a stay-at-home mom, and all you did was like the marketing and the hiring, firing, and some of the strategy for the business. But it became really apparent that I needed so many more skills to have any type of management job. I couldn't even work the basic computers. He told me in the interview, please don't apply for any more jobs like this. You are not qualified at all. You're not capable of doing this unless you go back to school and get your degree or get some different experience. And so I ended up, my first job after my divorce was $11 an hour 24 hours a day working as an assistant to a school teacher in an elementary school. I made $44 a day. For 24 years, I lived in million-dollar homes. I vacationed all over the world. I spent my summers in Hawaii. I could buy myself $500 jeans, diamond tennis bracelets. We had boats and RVs and whatever I wanted. And it never bothered me once that my financial security was dependent on that man being in love with me. I never realized that him liking me or not liking me or finding me sexy or attractive or interesting determined whether or not my children could eat, whether or not I could buy myself a fucking jug of milk and a loaf of bread. So I had my 5th surgery in 2 years, 2 weeks ago, and I'm supposed to be in bed resting, and I can't because I've worked 7 days a week since my divorce 5 years ago, which is why I'm covered in paint and looking like crap. We actually have a 4-day weekend here in Tucson, and since my partner isn't working, he's working on furniture flip partner projects with me. I have no retirement. I have no savings, no education, no resume. I was almost a straight A student throughout all of my education. I went to college at age 17. I had dreams for my future. I'm working so hard to get myself out of just perpetual side hustle hell. There's not a day that goes by that I don't wonder why. Why I didn't have a fucking backup plan. Why my kids eating and having stability was dependent on a romantic relationship. Why nobody told me to put money in the bank. Why nobody told me, don't have babies until you have an education and some experience. Don't have so many kids. I wish somebody had told me to put my name on our vehicle loans and to put my name on our houses. I wish somebody had told me that it's okay to put those babies in daycare for a couple days a week and go to college and have a job. And I think I need to do an entire TradWife sequel, because you can be happy and rich and loving your life like Ballerina Farm until the guy walks out.
Yeah.
I want you guys to imagine for a minute, even rich Hannah, if Deanna walked out, if all of his financial backing and he had to sell the farm, and then what does she have? Find another rich boy to marry? I just don't want one more woman to DM me, comment, send me their stories, cry to me about how hard it is for them to support their families, and I am so tired of living my own story. We have to make this stop. Raise your daughters to be financially independent. Focus on their futures and educations just as much as you focus on your sons. I wish that someone had done that for me. There's not a day that goes by that I don't wonder why. Why I didn't have a fucking backup plan. Why my kids eating and having stability was dependent on a romantic relationship.
I never had any plans to be a stay-at-home mom. That just kind of happened for me. I got married when I was 23 to my high school sweetheart. We had been together since I was 15 years old. I thought we were going to be together forever because, of course I did. He was my first love, right? That same year, I got pregnant with my oldest son. And at the end, towards the end of my pregnancy, I got laid off because of the mortgage crisis happening. I was working for a company that dealt in mortgages. And so I got laid off while 8 months pregnant. And because I was getting unemployment and my husband at the time was making $150,000 a year, which back in 2008 was really good money, we decided that I could just stay home with the kids. So I did. I was a stay-at-home wife or stay-at-home mom. At 24, had my second son and had been a stay-at-home mom for 2 years. In that time, my ex-husband, who had already shown signs of being abusive, had gotten exponentially worse to the point where he almost took my life twice. And so I had no choice but to leave. By the time I went to leave him, I had the only thing that I owned in my name was my car. I did have a bank account, but I had no money in that bank account because my ex-husband used to say all the time, "This is my money, not your money, because I worked for it, you did it." So I had absolutely no money. I do not come from a family that has the ability to give me money. Most of my family was just as broke as I was. So I had nothing. I had absolutely nothing. My life was in danger and I had no way to leave except for the car that I owned, which did not last very long because when my ex-husband and I decided to separate, he let me stay in the house because I wasn't working, so I didn't have a way to pay rent yet. And we owned the house. Well, and technically his mom owned the house and just gave it to us. But anyway, I stayed in that house, and I found out that he was dating and, you know, hooking up with other women. So I thought to myself, well, great, then if he's moving on, then I'm going to move on too. And so I did. And I started dating a guy who I had been friends with for a while. And when my ex-husband found out about that, he broke into my home, woke me up with his hands around my throat. This would now be the second time that he attempted to end my life. And in his fit of rage after beating me outside in the lawn while I was on the ground, kicking me and punching me, he grabbed any and all weapons that he could, a frying pan, a bench at one point, and he destroyed my car, totaled it. Broke every single window, slashed all the tires, dented it to hell, even opened up my engine and started pulling out, like, you know, hoses and wires and things like that. And that was the only thing that I had left that I owned. And it was gone in his fit of rage because I had the audacity to start dating after I found out that he was dating. So at that point I had nothing. When I finally moved out of that house, I spent the next 2-ish years couch surfing with my kids with friends until eventually that no longer worked out. I had no ability to get a job because the recession was so bad and the job skills that I had were like secretarial skills. I couldn't find work anywhere. Applying for any kind of like secretarial type work back during the recession was pretty much pointless because there was one job and, you know, 1,000 people applying for that job. So the competition was insane. It was very, very hard to find work. I just couldn't find work. The only thing that I had going for me was that I had thankfully had the foresight and motivation to do a little bit of college while I was a stay-at-home mom and had gotten good at math. Like, it was something that I had never really been good at, but I got good at it. And so I started to tutor in math for under the table money, you know, cash under the table. And that was enough for me to start paying for a motel. So I was staying for probably almost a year in and out of weekly motels that I would pay for with my earnings from tutoring that week. And yes, my kids were in these seedy little motels with me. These were motels that were frequented by prostitutes and their johns. I would hear gunshots outside of my door. People tried to break in while I was in there sleeping. It was so bad that oftentimes I would spend my nights up near the lake, staring at the stars because I was just too scared and depressed to be at my motel. Eventually, my sister, she'd had enough of the life that me and her nephews were living, and so she offered for us to come stay with her. And from that point, I was able to start to get on my feet. I ended up going back to school, getting my degree, became a teacher, went back and then got my master's degree so that I could, you know, increase my pay, and was ultimately able to take care of my kids with my career in teaching. My husband has paid a sum total of, out of all of the child support that he owed me, paid a sum total of $50 in child support. He owed me, I think we were pushing $40,000 the last time I took him back to court. He paid me $50 because once I took him to court to get child support, he decided to stop working. Found himself a woman who he's still with to this day, who he had 2 children with. Found himself a woman who was willing to financially support him for the last 7 years or so, so that he and had kids with her so that he could play the stay-at-home dad card. Oh, I'm a stay-at-home dad, so that's why I don't earn any money. And never paid any child support. The $50 in child support that I did get was from his girlfriend. It wasn't even from him. It was her money. So he's never paid any child support. This man used to make $150,000 a year. We had a really decent, comfortable life. He almost took my life. And because I didn't really have much of a skill set from being a stay-at-home mom and not really acquiring much by the age of 25 when I left him. I was unemployed. I was homeless, living in dangerous situations with my 2 very small children. I was penniless, and I got nothing from him to support me. So thankfully, and the only reason that I attribute any of the success to my life, in my life that I have now, the only reason I have it is because I happen to have enough people that I was surrounded by who loved me and my kids and supported me and got me to where I am today. It is the only reason that I'm here today and successful and now able to have the adorable little 3-bedroom home that I live in a very nice neighborhood, the stable career that I have that has afforded me the ability to take care of my kids without a dime of child support from their father. But it was because I had the support of people around me. I was lucky. I was one of the lucky ones. I got out of this with scrapes and bruises. Not that many women are lucky. So TradWife lifestyle sounds great. It's all fun and games until your husband cheats on you, decides to leave you for someone younger, decides she's just no longer attracted to you, tries to take your life. It's all fun and games until that happens, because your entire well-being, your entire livelihood is dependent on whether or not that man finds you valuable. Find yourself valuable and do what you need to do to take care of you and your kids.
At this point, if you're still aspiring to be a trad wife, or you're still a trad wife one way or the other, and you're not finding a way to get yourself out of it, you're playing with fire. I know it looks so good to be a traditional wife, especially when you're married to a wealthy man. I see these videos on TikTok. You see these women, they flaunt luxury, they flaunt cars, beautiful dresses, they flaunt so many things that, for you to afford something like that, you have to work so hard. You know that yes, you're married to a rich man, and they say it, get ready with me as a stay-at-home mom, blah blah blah, mom of 2, or you see them like flaunting it and all. It's beautiful because at that point your partner still likes you. You don't even know what's going to happen the next minute. You don't know what's going to happen the next year. But you know what all these wealthy men do? Most of the time, when they want to get married, they get married to someone that has ambition, someone that has goals. They marry you, and you know what they do? They try to tell you, I know you like to, maybe you're a very good fashion designer, and they've seen your work that, oh, this person's going to go places, this person's going to make so much money. What these wealthy men do, they marry you and they tell you, do you really need to work? Do you really need to be a tailor? Do you need to be a fashion designer? I earn a lot of money. I have a lot of money to take care of you and the kids we're going to have. And because you yourself, you are seeing the money, and you know that being a fashion designer is not an easy job. It's kind of the work that I know that I've tried to learn that it was impossible for me. So I know it's very difficult because I learned a lot of things. I learned a lot of handwork while I was growing. So I can say that fashion designing was one that I was unable to learn. So I know it's very difficult. So you know that before you can make a particular clothes, it take you a lot of time. At the end of the day, you won't even see the money. But the money you're getting from your man is way more than what you're going to see when you start sewing a particular clothes that will take you days to sew. And you're getting it like, that will hit your head and be like, okay, you know what? Let me not stress myself so much. Let me just listen to this man and he's going to take care of me. Of course, he has money, he has properties. You start having one child. The next time you get pregnant, you have 2, you have 3. You don't have a job. You don't have your own money. You are dependent on this man. if it change or when it change, what do you do? Where do you run to? Probably you're from a family that they're not financially stable. Where do you run to? Who do you run to when this guy change and tell you that his money is his money and he gives you whenever he wants to give you? What do you do? What do you do when he starts treating you bad? What do you do when he starts cheating? Just as the last teach said, it's all nice until he start acting up, until he decides to pick a younger girl, until he stops spending this money on you and start spending it on someone that is irrelevant. What do you do? Because first of all, he told you not to work and you're not working, you don't have your money, and he's the one giving you money, right? So he can actually control that money. He can control that money that enters your account because he's the one that gives you that money. I don't see why women are just so comfortable. Like I've sometimes I just say that how it's not like me myself. I don't like soft life. I don't like the baby girl life. It's not like nobody just wants to sit down and be well taken care of. But the person you're putting all your life, all your hopes on, is a man, and they can change. They can do anything at any given time. What do you do? What is your backup plan? As a woman in a marriage, you should have a backup plan, even if you're married to a wealthy man. What is your backup plan? If anything happens today, what do you do? Who do you run to? As somebody that does not have anything doing, you don't have your own money, you don't have your own business, you don't even you're not doing anything. Okay, some people might say you don't know how difficult it is to work and also stay at home and take care of 3 children. It's not easy. It's because you don't have 3 children. That's why you cannot understand. You're just yarning dust and all of that. I never said it was easy. I never said it's easy. But there's no how difficult it is. When you think about your future, when you think about your children's life, when you think about your own life as well, you'll find a way. I just feel like all that are just excuses. You will definitely find a way. You will see men that will tell their wives that they don't want to pay for daycare. You should stay at home and take care of a child. And I don't understand why that should be. If you're going to cut everything and stay at home and take care of a child, you are broke. You are broke. And I feel like these men will never, if they want to turn and tell these men to sit down at home and be a stay-at-home dad and you go out to work, most of them will not do it. So why are women so soft to just sit down at home and just be a traditional wife, fully traditional wife, like you don't have any try to even, there's little things to do to just make small money. You never can tell. And I feel like the moment that some men, when they know that you are very dependent on them, you don't even have any source of income, when they start acting up, there's nothing you can do about it. When they withdraw all their money from your accounts, there's nothing you can do about it. Look at the last stage. Look at the stage of this video. This man, because he doesn't want to pay child support, you know what he did? He went to get married to another girl that was going to, he now had to be the stay-at-home dad, so that he wants her to suffer. The moment he knows that she was dating someone else, he almost ended her life. They don't want to see you progress. Most of them, they don't want to see you progress. They want to see you suffer. So why are you putting all your life in their hands? I don't make it make sense, because I don't know how women do it, because it's the math is not matching in my head. And I know that some people do it, but how? How are you so confident in someone? I feel like the only person you should trust right now is yourself. You should trust yourself and know that, okay, I got this for myself. You know that you can trust yourself, not someone else, because anybody can switch up on you at any given time. So why are you putting all your trust and hope on someone that you met when middle of your life? That's when you met the person and you're trusting the person with your full chest. How are you doing it? Because I don't understand. Anyways, let me know your thoughts about this video down in the comment section about this TradWife trend. This is another video. I've talked about it before earlier last week. But then I would like to know your thoughts about this video down in the comment section. And thank you all so much for sticking around to this point. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and share and subscribe. And kindly turn on the post notification bell so you can get notified once I upload another interesting video like this one. And I will see you all in my next one. Bye.